Hey traders, Tomasz here. Welcome to the backtesting series. Now we're going through the second 15 days, so the second part of November. And starting GU on the daily. So after the daily chalk bullish, we knew that the pullback is very likely to start, right? We know also that this pullback, because of the weekly, can be more than just a pullback. It can actually be the higher low. So price can actually move and create a new higher high. So that's it. While internal structure here on the daily, okay, I know it's very large on the other time frames, but while on the daily we have this bullish structure, like internally, we always can expect a new higher high to be formed because these are internally protected. Only if we have a strong shift like this, we then can assume, okay, we shift, now we have the small, like a line with a large one, and the low becomes weak. Okay, it's that pattern I keep repeating. When the internal are aligned with a swing, that's a very good indication the low is going to get run. At this stage, the internal is bullish, so it's not a line, which means yes, we can look for short-term sells, but these are just possible pullbacks to then continue moving up. Why? Because we're coming from this demand at the discount. Daily boss bearish just mitigate this daily demand or this high time frame demand. It's visible on the weekly. And that could be the objective of the boss bearish from the daily perspective. Now that's done and completed, we can then make a new higher high. So this internal structure needs to hold, because if it doesn't hold and we internal boss bearish, we have alignment between the swing and the internal, and then the low becomes weak. Okay, so I'll just leave it like that on the daily. Ideally, looking for longs. If you look for sells, are just short-term pullbacks before the higher low. H4 is bullish, so I'm interested in looking for longs at this stage. Yes, we can still play the pullback, right? Back into the EQ, back into the discount, and then look for longs. But overall, H4 is bullish, so expectation is to form a new higher high, and I want to be part of it, right? If you want to play sells, that's valid as well, because we are in the premium, so that's totally valid, but we need to monitor the H1 and see if it makes sense, okay? So let's analyze the H1. We have this PY that's unmitigated, so we can definitely look for sells from here. Right, price can does the lower, internal lower high. Not much more at this stage, so yeah, just need a little bit more development. If for some reason price did that and disrupt this supply, that would be a good indication the swing high is weak, and then this can happen. Okay, but at this stage, this is the current supply that's holding price. The fact that we actually have almost touch the PY and never touch in the end of the day, it's just good inducement for when price like comes back up. Okay, and yeah, that's gonna be a very good area to look for sells. Let's see how price develops. All right, so now I don't want this supply anymore. I keep following the internal structure because internally, okay, this is protected. Let me just use here internal. This is protected. This can act as inducement for the PY above. So it's definitely okay. Let me see. Let me think. So let me use premium versus discount. We're still in the premium. So the fact that we're still in the premium make me interested in looking for sells. Okay. So price reach the PY. Very impulsive. If I was going to look for sales, it has to be an LC to A, otherwise I won't take it. So, right. I mean, you have this LC to B, but extend a lot. I really not interested on that. If it plays out, yeah, went down, end up swapping the high, mitigate deeper inside this POI. Okay. So not clean price action in my opinion. I can see two things happen. The fact that price disrupt the POI I just had is definitely a good chance that price can start moving up, but at the same time it can also be a drop, because when I look left, like, what is this? Absolutely nothing. If I use premium versus discount, we also see that we are highly in the premium. So we are in the premium, we never mitigate any kind of supply to the left. So this kind of sweep here, it's not even like a shift, it's more like a sweep, right? And price can go to the downside. So yeah, I'll personally wait for more confirmation at this stage. I'm not interested. I can't see what's going to happen. So during Asia, so let's just fast forward into London. So London session, what we have here, we are in the premium, we never mitigate any kind of demand, so we can still look to the downside. On the other hand, this supply failed, but at the same time it could be a sweep. Then we actually have a chalk bearish after the sweep. So yeah, it's a lot of things that can happen at this stage. I really don't want to guess. So yeah, just don't get involved. Like, it's not clean in my opinion. I just prefer to stay away. Okay, price went down. Not clean at all at this stage. Why I don't want to look for sales from this POI? Like, why I wouldn't? Why I use take a sell from here? It does not make sense for me, because like, look at this equal highs above. Yeah, it's definitely not an interesting area for me. It can easily be swept. Very small, tiny POIs formed during Asia. So yeah, it's not the type of trades that I want to take. Yeah, that's not clean. Just waiting for more development. So interesting here. What we have here. Notice that price, let me just use, and this is one important thing, is when price is not clear, we need to wait for more development, and as price develops more, we start having more signs of what can happen next, and with those signs it just becomes more probable. Okay, it just becomes more clear, so, and pattern starts to repeat itself. So at this stage, what we have, this high here, okay, fail to took out the low and shift bullish with a candle closure. Okay, so what we know from this small piece of price action, we know that this high is weak. Okay, this high is weak because this high here, as you can see, this one failed to take out the high, sorry, to take out the low. So it swept the low, internal boss bullish, which means the high now is weak. So what it means that I want to look for longs, but again, it's never high probability in my opinion, because we're never coming from any kind of relevant demand in the first place. One thing that increased the probability a little bit is the sweep of the low, because price swept the low. This is often some signs of commitment. Okay, so if for instance price like this goes up, then swept the low and push back up, even though this sweep it's at a premium, it's not high probability, I know, because price can evolve wherever, but because it swept the low, it can give some kind of strength to the move. So in this case, the fact price swept the low, push up, and this high is weak. If price goes down, I prefer to wait for a little bit more, like an LC2A. I just don't like overall the entire price section, but it's definitely a valid area to look for longs. And price end up going up. Then this POI is already mitigated here. Just slightly touch here, but it was enough to make a decent move. So it was enough to make a lower low. Because of that, I just think some of the orders were already observed. If for some reason I was looking for sales, I want to see a clear shift. So like that, and then look for sales, okay? Let's see. and price just continue moving up. So price action not clean, not gonna lie, it's not clean at all. So let me just delete everything. No, not very clean to be honest. Oops, what's happening? Okay, let me just use other time frames. For some reason, MetaTrader is not working. Sorry guys. Okay, it's a bug, but hopefully won't happen again. So yeah, price action not very clean. Again, price never became from the premium, sorry, from the discount or EQ. So it's a little bit tricky. The fact that this internal high became weak after the sweep and internal boss makes valid to look for longs, but price never mitigated demand. Continue moving to the upside, took out this high, and yeah, it's not clean at all. Let's see, we have this demand that was also formed through sweep of liquidity. Okay, so this was demand formed through sweep. Never mitigate that with chalk bearish. With chalk bearish, we never mitigate this demand. So let me just mark this. It's going to be a valid area to look for sales. So if it's inside session, let's now look for sales here, right? Okay, it's outside session because it's already the next candle is New York Blue. Okay, this is outside session. So, but this was a valid setup, even though it was outside session, because again, even though I don't take this, but H1 boss bullish. What happened after the boss? Price chalk bearish. What that means? So after the break of structure, the moment the chalk bearish happened, I want to play the pullback. And the fact that we never mitigate this demand, or even the more fine one, and also left some kind of liquidity to target like that, that is enough for me to look for sales. And yeah, price form an LC2A, chalk bearish, then bullish. That's the entry, but it was triggered during New York Blue, which I'm not interested, by the way. You already, if you saw this series, you know that I don't take and register these trades on the spreadsheet, so I can't take it. But that's a valid trade if you take this kind of trades outside session. And yeah, price just continue moving up. That's for the good, and for the bad, last time I missed some winners, and this one saved me from taking a loss. From my data, I know it's worth taking lower London and New York Blue trades in terms of percentage, but in terms of strike rate, it does not happen, it's not help at all. So I just favor more the strike rate over the risk reward. Okay, I'm much more interested to push the strike rate higher as possible compared to the risk reward, compared to the returns and the percentage. So even though percentage wise it makes sense start trading the London or New York Blue, from the strike rate perspective it doesn't, so I just prefer to stick with that and don't trade at all. So yeah, I miss some winners, sometimes I also miss some losers. So that's it, let's continue. Okay, so we have this POI with this kind of inducement. Continue looking for longs, by the way, and it's something that people sometimes forget. After H1 boss, if internal structure continues being bullish, like I will continue looking for longs. It will be different if, for example, we have something like that, then I will look for sells. But while price like within these internal structures bullish, like I will continue looking for longs. The only difference is I will base my decisions, i.e. being aggressive or conservative, according to the quality of the POI I'm trading from. Okay, that's key. Okay. Okay, so we have a chalk. No, the chalk is here. So we actually already have a change of character. Let me see if it's inside session. Okay, it's outside. So let's wait for next day. All right, so even let me just put here, it's cleaner. So what we have here, we are in the premium, perfect. Okay, so what we want to play the pullback back into the EQ, back into the discount. Okay, so we have these two POIs. This one is quite low probability. It's at the because it's at the premium. So only way I would take this trade is, for example, if we have something like this, like a nice development, such as here, then swap the low, shift, and then we go. If we don't have that kind of development here, like that kind of deceleration, I'll just skip this and just wait for better opportunities down here. Okay. Anyway, looking for sales makes sense because we choke after the boss, and now I'm interested to play the sales. Buy to sell as usual, but I'll just go over the highs to be safe. It's up to you how you want to do it. And let's see if we can look for trades. We'll just wait for more development. Right, so we have an LC1, I believe. Here. It's a little bit more aggressive, the LC1, especially with the size of this candle. Let's see the next one. Okay. I have to take this one because it's according to the rules, even though I'm not a big fan, to be honest. Why I'm not a big fan? Because of the size. I mean, I can still have a good risk reward until this POI, but I'm just not a big fan of the size. If it was like that, it will be easier, but have to be mechanical. So let's see. Again, why I took this one, because H1 boss. Okay, what happened after the boss? We shift, so we have a strong chalk bearish. The chalk was even here, so it's a strong shift. Demand fell, supply tried to take over. Currently, it's what's happening. We have a low probability demand here, so this can actually act as a pullback to then go down. So I won't be surprised if we have some kind of reaction around this region. But nevertheless, the only way I will be looking for longs is if we have this kind of deceleration or development, such as a nice sweep, and then we go. I will never use the low time frames straight away. Price can reach high probability demands such as this one and even lower. So looking for sales makes sense. This phase C. So it's bullish swing, internal is bearish. It makes sense. I use an LC1 because it was straight away after the break, so small range, right? Not a big fan again. Not a big fan, but it is what it is. Yeah. That's why I can't have good risk reward. You can see it is what it is. Let's see if it's a loss. It's a loss, and it's a loss. Probably have some buffer, so it won't be a loss, but I will register this anyway. Let's see what happened. Okay, it will be a loss now. No worries. So that's why I'm not a big fan of this kind of large candles, but I'll take it because it's a mechanical process, especially for the backtesting purpose. So let's see what we have here. 8 a.m. 22 of November. 8 a.m. Now this is a little bit of a pain for you, so skip this. Just skip this part. It's not funny, so you can skip it. LC1, medium probability. Phase C, because internal is bearish. 22. Okay. What we have here, stop loss 10.9, 10.9, 10.9, and then this was around 20. So it ran 1.75 and it was not enough to reach the TP, which is 2.15, to account for commissions and spreads. So that would be a loss. And you can still take these trades, okay guys? You can still take these trades and be profitable in the end of the year, because majority of my trades, like the percentage, came from medium probability trades. So I don't need to be perfect. This exercise show exactly that. Most of my trades, you can see here, it's all medium. Okay, medium, like a few mistakes here and there. It's medium. Okay, so that should give you take out of pressure of always having to execute just high probability setups. So let's see, I don't take like 9 out of 10, I won't take another trade in the same PY. I already take a loss on, so see, price goes down, okay. This fell as expected because the concepts work, okay guys, it's definitely not a trade. Area, definitely not an area to look for trades, even though there's no trade, it's not an area. Need to wait for confirmation. We even reached the refined PY, perfect. So now we can move to the upside. So what's happening here? Let's delete everything. What I can see that price reach our high probability demand. And why it's high probability? Important to understand, because it's swap liquidity. Not only swap liquidity, it also has inducement very, very close to the POI. It's at the discount, and it's even flip. So there's interaction between supply and demand. Okay, so it's unmitigated. I mean, it's a perfect POI. If I was going to take a risk entry, it should be a risk entry from here. But again, I don't take this kind of trades. It's not part of my trading plan. But yeah, that's a valid trade. Not according to my rules, by the way. But again, very high probability POI. So what I can expect, the fact that these highs were formed through a lot of liquidity, so it's not very well formed. I'm not interested in looking for sales aggressively from this POI. I will wait for some kind of shift, such as this, because if we have this shift after this mitigation, we know at least the swing low here is weak, and it's very likely this swing low, this internal low will get run because it become weak, okay? If that does not happen, I will never look for sales because the objective may already be completed. Why? Because we already reached a discount, we already mitigated an high probability demand, we have the low, it's formed through sweep, we have the highs formed through equals, we have a straight push, there's no inducement. Why I'm going to look for sales? I basically prefer to look for buys, trying to predict that the POI is going to fail based on all of this, especially knowing that the objective of the pullback may already be completed. Okay, so now it's time to look for longs. We have this POI. By the way, why is this a POI? By the way, we need to adjust. Okay, it's very clean inducement just above. Okay, it failed. It not failed, but it never reached. It is what it is. So yeah, price completely disrupt that. That's why I won't look for sales here. It just don't make sense. It's very easy for this to fail. Straight push, no inducement, coming from the discount, liquidity to target, a low is formed through sweep. Objective is completed. Now it's time to go. Let me see if there's a boss. No boss yet. Okay. There's no break of structure at this stage, but that's fine. I wait for more confirmation. A little bit of a range here. Remember what happened here, guys? Notice we never reached any kind of demand. We were where? we were at the premium, price still go up. What happened? Swap, chalk up, the high becomes weak, then we go. It remembers me what's happening here. So when I look left, price is not mitigating anything relevant. We are at the premium, but look what happened. We swept the low, so we create liquidity, sell side liquidity, we swap it, we chalk bullish, the high becomes weak, this is a new demand to trade from. It's a valid setup, is the one I won't register this trade because it's a little bit more aggressive for me. The same way I was a little bit, I was put off from this price action, the same happens here. It's literally consistent actions, consistent results. There's literally that. So it's no magic. The same way I missed this one, even though this was much cleaner, because look, it was very well formed. This was very, very tiny and condensed price action, very tight. So it's very easy to fail and create new structure. So anyway, price swept the lows, chalk, mitigate demand, and went up. By the way, let me see if there's any entry. LC1, okay, as usual in this kind of small ranges, and an entry right here. Okay, just went to the upside. So that's valid if you are more aggressive than me, not a big deal. Okay, so let's continue. I'll be interesting to looking for longs. If for instance price shock bearish, I will then look for sells. Okay, so even though price just formed an internal boss bullish, I will continue looking for longs. And I know this is some, hopefully not now, but because I assume you guys watch all the videos. But if you are new and for some reason you just end up being in this video, after the break of structure, right? I already said this multiple times, but I make sure to repeat. After the break of structure, I can continue looking for longs as long as we have this kind of protected internal lows. However, I will be base my decision on how aggressive and conservative I want to be based on the quality of the POI and the quality of the lows, right? For instance, this case, I remember, look here, look at these lows, very low probability, tiny candles, equals, whatever, push down. So I won't be aggressive here. However, in this case, it's very different because we have a sweep of liquidity, okay, candle closer above. It makes sense for me to be more aggressive. I'll be using an LC2A. It's a large range. It's not large, but it's also not small. So at the premium, I just prefer to wait for an LC2A. Oh my god, I missed the setup. If I use an LC1 and be a little bit more aggressive, but yeah. So that's not even a trade there. This is what it is. Let's see if we have a new trade here, following this range. Sorry, following this demand chain. LC2A as well. No LC2A, because remember, for an LC2A we need to have a chalk bullish. On the pullback inducement leg, there's no chalk. All candles went down, so there's no chalk. We actually chalk bearish. Let's see, we are outside session. Let's wait a little bit for tomorrow. Okay, let's wait. H4, what's happening here? Okay, I'll delete everything just to be cleaner. H4 is the break. Okay, that's the H4. You can even mark this as a break of structure. Won't be wrong, by the way. You can do this. Nothing wrong with that. I'm interested to look for longs. Then we chalk bearish, so this is the valid sell setup, up and outside session. Yeah, I will wait for this to go first, because this is the current demand that's holding price. Notice that internally we are like this. So if we fail, we have a good indication the low becomes weak. So I then can look for sells. If that's not the case, I will not even look for that. Okay, interesting. Technically, you can use this one. I prefer this one because this can easily be used as inducement, this one above. So I'll just be a little bit more conservative and wait for an LC2A. Okay. Why I will wait for an LC2A? Because this POI can easily be used as inducement for the POI above. I also not a big fan of these equals, but again, we don't need to be perfect. So it's a valid supply to look for sales. Just wait a little bit more, like an LC2A, because I'm not sure. Well, it's tempting. It's tempting because I mean, it's definitely a valid LC1. You know what? I'll take it because I want to register. If it's a loss, it's a loss. But it's one of those that I honestly prefer an LC2A, but I'll take an LC1. Okay, I'll still take it. Ideally, we reach a little bit up into this POI to have like a refined supply mitigation. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Now I'm happy to take an LC1. Okay, now it's better. Even better. All right. I mean, let me see. Yes, we are inside session. Okay, so price probably won't give me an entry. Let's see. Okay, and it's completely disrupt the POI. No entry. At this stage, like I said, the POI could be used as inducement for the one above. But remember, because the range now is quite large, so the distance between here and the pullback, so the POI and the pullback, sorry, the distance between the POI and where the pullback started, so this is a quite big distance. So I won't be using an LC1 anymore. Now I'm just interested on an LC2A. If that never happened, I never take the trade. It is what it is. But I won't be using an LC1. Okay, no entry by the way. So there's no entry. Price is not clean. Definitely not clean, but so we have an H1 boss. Keep going up, not clean price action. Not a big fan of these lows. I'm going to approach. I'll wait for extra confirmation. Price just continue moving up. Right, so we shift here, or at least we break something. Like, why I'm not interested in looking for longs from here? This is nothing, okay? It's very different looking from longs here than looking from longs here, where I try to do it. Because here we have entire like demand formed through sweep. In this case, like, what is this? Price push down, push up. Like, it's not formed through sweep. There's no inducement. There's nothing. Okay, there's no flip. There's no premium versus discount. I mean, there's no. It's not in the discount. What I mean, there's absolutely nothing. So I won't take it. So yeah, end up failing. It's not a surprise. Now after the shift, here we have the shift right here. All right, so now looking for sales from here makes sense. Midday, so I'll be looking for an LC2A. this candle is super large, like I won't take it. It just don't make sense for me. Does not make sense. And by the way, I just forget this. It seems that the entry was already completed or not. I don't know. Let me see. So chalk, then break to upside. Price went up. The moment it went up, I delete the order and then I put the order right here. Again, right here. Here, again, I can't see if price went down and up or if price goes up and then down. I will register this as a loss because it seems price went down. So I'll register this as a loss. I'll be explaining in a bit. Let me just mark this 29 November. November, LC to A is between medium and low probability, to be honest. It's a little bit of discretion here. You can call it whatever you want. I'll just call medium phase D because internal still bullish. It was just a chalk. Now what do we have here? 8.7. Just a second, guys. I'll make an explanation about this trade. It will become clear. Let me just do it. Interesting to see like a drawdown here, small push up, but still in the drawdown. Yeah, it's very interesting, the distribution between win and losses. We're going to talk about that in future episodes, but for now, let's see, recap. So basically, let's go to the H4. Okay, from the H4 perspective, we all know we are in the premium. Okay, so what that means, it means that now looking for sells can be valid as a pullback. Okay, I'm not expecting price to suddenly push down, but as a pullback before any kind of relevant demand is mitigated, this is valid. But of course, we need medium time frame, i.e. the H1 confirmation first. If we have that confirmation, we can confirm that pullback. We can see from the H4 perspective, price is inside this demand, but we know that from the H4, it's definitely lower probability. Like this is absolutely no confluence. There's nothing. This demand is very low probability at this stage. I'm really happy to trade through that. On the H1, we can also see here from the H1 perspective, there's absolutely nothing here. So this is no, by the way, if you mark the correct demand, this one is mitigated. Then this one fail. So like it's nothing here. Okay, we shift. We also are in the premium. So we are in the premium of the H1. So we have room to the downside. Where price are coming from? Sorry, nowhere. So this is nothing. So again, nice confluence to look for sales. We have this small equals to target. We can see here small equals to target. We also have this liquidity here below, just in case H1 boss bearish to facilitate the H4 pullback. It's always possible. In terms of H1 supply, it's the last supply that needs to hold, in theory, because everything else is mitigated. Okay, I hope you guys now understand why I took a sell. In terms of sales, I'll wait for an LC to A, where price form here, chalk, then break up. have the candle, the entry here, and then entry here. Not sure if price went down or not. Assuming it's not, then you get trigger here. So that's a valid trade for sure for me. It's definitely a valid trade. And price ended up going down. Very erratic, not interesting to be part of it. While price is like that, I'll just wait a little bit more. It's definitely in a range, not interested at all. Price went down. Okay, now I want to look for sales again. Here I want to look for sales. Oh, let me see. Yeah, the candle is very large. Price swept the high. I mean, you would have this candle. It's definitely not something that I'm interested. Like, look at this. With an LC1, price swept low time frame lead. It is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. And now it's already December. So that's it for November. Hope you guys took some value. Very interesting to see a small drawdown, but it is what it is, not a big deal. We can see that we have drawdowns and winning streaks, so it's fine. But yeah, sometimes people can get a little bit crazy if they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses in a row if you skip this one. So yeah, hope you guys took some value, and I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers, bye.